All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Trading Bitcoin with your host, Tom Vays. The market popped yesterday, but we had to do a news show, so I didn't get a chance to dive deep into the charts. I wish I had more time for you today, but I don't have that much time, which is why we are going right into the charts. All right. And here we go. Let me just double check everything and we are set. Nope, that's the editing page. All right. So let me just make sure. Yep, we're all good. Weekly chart. The week is coming to an end. I usually take Sundays off. We will see what happens tomorrow. If tomorrow is completely uneventful, and we close just above this moving average, if we close between $48,000 and $49,000 tomorrow, that is pretty uneventful, but that is great news. I probably will not do a show tomorrow unless I feel like doing a bunch of public Q&A. There's only one private Q&A this week. I'll try to do one or two next week. Next week, I'll also be in Dubai. So it'll be, I'm not sure when yet. I haven't got all my flights. Anyway, we bounced right off the moving averages. We pierced the moving average last week, got in between the two. Now we bounced off of them. If we rise from here, and I do believe that we will rise from here, we will avoid a really bad moving average crossover. And it is also possible we avoid the 7-period moving average crossing over the, I believe it was 7, 20, and 50 is what I believe I have here. Yeah, correct. 7, 20, and 50. Yeah. We can avoid that crossover as well if we start rising. And if we rise next week, then everything becomes a go. It'll be almost impossible for this week to flip the MRI into a bullish zone. We will need 2 more weeks for that because in order to do it this week, we would need a new high swing close above $52,000, and or 51,500. I just don't see that happening. I don't see Bitcoin rallying 3,000 more in the next 36 hours. That is very, very unlikely. Okay. Daily 3-day chart. I am very confident in my bet against Joe Saz. When we made this bet, Bitcoin was at approximately current price or maybe a little bit, a smidge lower. We have went down, took a standing 8 count and got off the canvas and are seriously back in this fight, if not close to a knockout punch. So one more candle trading above, like we have, this is my 3-day chart. This is my Consensio chart. We're down to 1.5 days before the next candle shows up. If the next candle is trading above $47,000, and it's likely that the next candle will be trading above $47,000, but if you get that feeling that that candle will stay above $47,000, that means the Consensio chart becomes 100% bullish. We did not get into a full cash position. The Consensio chart got me down to the 40-50% bullish allocation, probably a little bit more bullish than I should have been based on what happened in this insane candle. But we are back and almost ready for a full bullish allocation. And hopefully this next bullish allocation takes us all the way up to the new all-time high. And this is how you trade on a longer scale basis. It really should not be flip-flopping this much. I mean, this is a weird spot right here where the short-term period moving average dipped right below the long-term, but immediately recovered. A very, very weird spot. The daily chart is looking beautiful. We're pretty much sitting at this double top, and I don't think it's going to last much longer. I do think we will close this week above 48, possibly even as high as 49. Now, I do think we are going higher. This candle alone changed a lot. This candle broke both moving averages, violently. How's the volume? The volume was great. It flipped everything, but guess what? I know this is probably not the best funding rate to use, but it did not flip the funding rate. So people were very surprised and got caught not being very bullish on this move. Now, the RSI is sitting right at resistance. We do need to break this area, and I do believe that we will. Things tend to slow down on the weekend. You can see how the MACD is now positive. That candle changed everything. And now we just need a couple of candles up here. This 50-period moving average will not cross below the 200-period moving average. It will now start going up a lot quicker. I am curious which candles we are knocking out of the 50-period moving average. So I'm going to hold the shift key. I'm going to click on today's candle, and I'm going to go back 50 candles, 50 days. That is, oh, interesting. Okay, so 50 bars back is here. So we are flat, and that makes sense. Now, the longer term moving average is the 200, and it's probably knocking these out, which is why it is declining. I'm going to do that in a second. So as long as we are trading above 48, 40, once we get above 50, this thing will start to trend upwards, right? Because we need to get above these. This is the $49,000 area. Once we're above that 49, this moving average will start trending upwards. There'll be a couple of candles here once we start taking these off the table. But then eventually we're going to drop down real quick. So we just got to stay above 50, and this moving average is going to start rising fairly quickly. Now, if we go back 200 days from today, where are we at? Right, exactly where I expected. We're right up there. So right now, every day that goes by, we are replacing these candles up here, and we'll be doing that for a good 2 months. So for the next 2 to 3 months, how wide is this area here? 2 months. For the next 2 months, this moving average will probably still be declining unless we get this thing above $55,000. As long as we stay below 55, this moving average is declining. But once the next 2 months go by, we start removing these candles off the 200-day moving average, and it starts to rally up quickly. This is the 128, and the 128 is rising because we're probably just starting to eliminate these candles here. So again, let's go back to 128. 131. Okay, so 128 is here, right there. Yeah, so this is in a great spot. So we are knocking out these low prices from the moving average and replacing them with these higher ones. So probably the crossover will take place sooner than later, because this thing is the 128 is gonna start moving up fairly quickly as we break above 50,000, while the 200-day is still gonna be declining a little bit. So we are looking at a crossover sometime in mid-October, which would be great. And if we stay above 50, and I believe that we will, I believe October will stay above 50 once we get over there in a couple of days. Short-term chart. We had a couple of MRI tops on the 1-hour chart. You can see these short corrections, 1 to 4 candles, and then more upside. We are now looking pretty good. We almost made a new swing high an hour ago, and we did pull back a little bit, but it looks like we are still rising. The 1-hour chart is a little bit overextended, but nothing total, nothing that Bitcoin can't handle. Let's put it that way. Here's the 4-hour chart. The 4-hour chart is consolidating in a very nice bullish pennant flag kind of situation. As you can see, the 4-hour chart hit its MRI top within consolidation. It is still consolidating. I am ready for this breakout. The next candle will be a green star candle. If we trade higher, once we knock out this MRI resistance, once we break above these swing highs, I can certainly see us closing the day above 49,000 fairly easy. And I would love to see this weekly candle close above 50. Maybe a little too much to ask, but it's certainly possible. Certainly possible. I see Fibbo's on. Hey, Fibbo, 53 is promising to you? That sounds great. Let us see how the traditional markets closed. This is GBTC. GBTC premium continues to be decimated. This is really, really fascinating. I did not think that the premium would be this negative for this long. Once Bitcoin starts to break out above prior swing highs, this premium will probably reverse in a hurry, because remember, as this is happening, I'm pretty sure no one is buying into GBTC, the trust. You have to hold it in the trust for 6 months. And right now, people are just trading the GBTC shares. Once those GBTC shares get into the hands of the hodlers, there's not going to be too many GBTC shares left to buy. So there'll be a short squeeze on GBTC shares, and the premium is going to go through the roof. So the longer this stays suppressed and the longer people do not buy into GBTC, the more likely we are to spike that premium back into the 10 to 20% range. And that is what I'm waiting for. I kind of messed up a little bit with this premium. I really did not think it can go to zero. I grossly overestimated how much BlockFi and other companies were abusing the GBTC premium, free money. And yeah, well, GBTC is paper Bitcoin. Yeah, of course it's paper Bitcoin, but it's still, you can profit from it, right? And I'm profiting tax-free from it. This is where I trade my Bitcoin. Until I restructure my living situation and citizenships and residencies, there's not much a person can do. And you do the best with what you have based on the overlords that rule your life. And the overlords that rule your life is stated right there on your passport, because we don't actually live in a free society around the world. So I trade GBTC for certain advantages. And when I'm able to not trade it in other ways for advantages, I will. Was yesterday's rally a short squeeze? I do not believe that it was. The volume was just not there for it to be a short squeeze. So gold isn't interesting. Oil, I believe, is going to break 100 soon. And the S&P 500 rallied big time on Friday. The Bitcoin rally may have a lot to do with the S&P 500 rallying. Now, the S&P 500 is not out of the woods. The S&P 500 is going to run into some serious resistance as these moving averages continue to decline. Also, as the U.S. government potentially goes into, another lockdown. The government, well, not lockdown, but like, so every time there is a U.S. debt ceiling problem, the U.S. government gives almost every single government employee free vacation. It's a free vacation for government employees. It is very frustrating because all of a sudden the government services aren't working. The people aren't working. They make it seem like these people aren't getting paid, but that is bullshit. They don't get paid while they're on vacation. But then once the government raises the debt ceiling, and once the government raises the debt ceiling, and people go back to work, they get paid for all those vacation days that they got. So if it was up to the government employees, they would be having the debt ceiling shutdown of the government every 3 months, because they literally get vacation out of it. It's a vacation that they get paid for later on. I heard El Salvador isn't that great to live in at the moment. Not yet. But Mexico is at the top of my list. All right, guys, I think that's going to be it for me. Check us out in Dubai, October 14 to 15. That is only like 10 days away. All right. So we're going to be in Dubai. Check out the videos from our 2019 event in Malta. Also, Dubai Financial Summit is happening as well. That's it. If you guys want to support, you could check out tonevays.com. Also, a free learn trading section. The mempool has cleared up, which is great. And that is it for me. You can purchase the MRI indicator on tonevays.com. All right, guys, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all on the next one, guys. We'll try to do, so where's my thing here? Oh, there it is. Stop sharing. All right, guys. Bye. See you all tomorrow. Well, maybe tomorrow. Sunday. I like taking Sundays up. Later.